Do we have to do this now? In my head. Hello everybody, welcome to In My Head. Two quick things. The first, I am from the United States of America, so if you're from a different country or a different culture, the things that I say here, they may not apply the same for you. Number two, I am not a licensed professional. I don't have a problem. I just know what I like and what I don't like. If I don't need to do something, why am I going to do it? Here on In My Head, I give my take on mental health issues, and today we're talking about overcoming avoidance and avoidant behavior. Before we talk about this though, do me a favor. Do you have something that you're avoiding? Let me know down in the comments below. So how do you overcome avoidant behavior? Stop avoiding things. Oh! If only it were that simple. First, I think it's important to consider if whatever it is that we're avoiding, maybe avoiding it is actually adaptive, meaning it's a good thing, it's what we should be doing, it's appropriate behavior. For example, if there's somebody in your life who is abusive towards you and you've confronted them about it, and yet they still don't change their behavior, it may be appropriate to avoid that person. You haven't changed your behavior, I'm done talking to you. It could also become more obvious to us when we're avoiding things that might make our life better, like maybe we're avoiding making friends with people, or we're avoiding learning to drive a car depending on where we live, or we're avoiding getting help with our mental health problems. Usually when we're avoiding something, it's because of anxiety. It's a fear that something's going to happen to us, that we're going to be harmed in some way. Anxiety is experienced in our body in a number of different ways, including tense muscles and rapid heartbeat, fast breathing. Overcoming avoidant behavior means approaching that anxiety and learning to manage the anxiety and cope with it. One thing that's always helped me is to slow down my breathing. Sometimes when we get anxious, we have these thoughts that come running through our head and we listen to them and repeat them over and over, and it makes our anxiety even worse. If we're somebody who has OCD or obsessive thoughts, we may particularly get stuck in these thought cycles that just go over and over and over again, ramping up our anxiety bigger and bigger and bigger. It's important that we challenge these thoughts that we're thinking. We may even go and think the total opposite thoughts. I'm gonna die. I can't do this. I'm going to finally live. I can do this. Now, it's not just that we have to approach and learn to manage the anxiety, we also have to start approaching whatever it is that we're avoiding. Sometimes we call this exposure, as in exposure therapy. The idea here is to slowly get closer to what it is that you've been avoiding at a pace that's comfortable for you. Of course, if it's totally comfortable, then you're not actually doing anything, so you have to push yourself just a little teeny tiny bit to be mildly uncomfortable. Each time that you step out into a situation that's just a little bit uncomfortable and you learn to manage the anxiety, cope with the anxiety in that moment, you get a little bit closer to what it is that you've been avoiding. As you practice and you get a little bit closer each time, it becomes easier and easier, just like any skill that you learned, where in the beginning it was really hard and you moved really slowly. I want to answer the question, what is anxiety? I had some anxiety just coming outside the house. You know, I had anxiety when I was coming up here, but now that I'm out here, what is there to be anxious about? This field is like so much bigger than I think people realize it is, which is why I started a channel on it. And I'd love to see more people talking so that you can start to see yourself as having some flaws and not feel so emotionally, painfully charged about it when that thought comes up. Now, just a reminder, we are all of these people. Overcoming avoidance means replacing that avoidant behavior with better, healthier ways of coping. If you try to overcome avoidance without replacing it with a new way of coping with that anxiety that you've been feeling, you're probably just going to fall right back into avoidance all over again. So make sure you have a plan in place to move forward. You may be tired of hearing me say it on this channel, but I always believe that going in to see a therapist is the best course of action, particularly if why you're avoiding something has something to do with trauma. Trauma can be very hard to overcome on your own. It's tempting to act like what we're avoiding isn't a problem. The anxiety that comes with it is really scary and uncomfortable. We may think to ourselves, well, things are just fine the way that they are. But the truth is that overcoming avoidance allows you to expand upon the possibilities for your life, and you deserve to experience all that life has to offer you. If you're hearing all of this and you recognize, yeah, sometimes I avoid things, but I don't really know what I'm avoiding and why I'm avoiding it, maybe you're not so in touch with what it is that you get stressed out about, I have some free worksheets over on my Patreon page on stress regulation. These will help you to get in touch with those moments that you get stressed out about throughout the day to maybe find out what it is that you're avoiding. Thank you to my patrons who make videos like this possible. I use Patreon myself as well to support other people who are doing work that they love. If you like learning about mental health, why not go over to youtube.com/RyanLiberty, go hit subscribe. And remember to comment down below what it is that you're avoiding, because I'd love to know. Thank you for joining me, everybody, here on In My Head. Today I'm going to do this, one step at a time.